Hello, this is Tom Sapp. We're going to talk about how to make your own photography lighting today. One of the best things I like to use is Lowe's. I go there on a regular basis. That's Lowe's Hardware, Home Depot, any of these places. They all have great stuff to use for constructing different various things that you can use around the studio. But one of the things that I actually use the most is the fluorescent bulbs like you see here. Just regular fluorescent bulbs. The thing about using the lower light bulbs instead of getting the professional bulbs is you're not going to get the light output, the brightness that you really need to get the high apertures unless you drag your shutter, and that's open the shutter for an extended period of time so that you can get a more closed down aperture, which will give you a better depth of field in there so you can see everything in focus a little better. But what you're going to want to do if you do use just regular lighting is the best thing to do in my opinion is have you know, a 1.4, a prime lens, something that goes below 2.8 aperture. I use, actually a lot of times I'll cut my soft boxes, my lights, I'll put one of these fluorescent bulbs, usually about a 60, 75 watt, and I'll just put it right into a white lightning light that I've got because they take household bulbs, and I'll just cut the actual strobe part of it off and leave the modeling light on, which is the fluorescent bulb here. But you could do the same exact thing if you just go to Lowe's, Home Depot. They've got these, they're about $9, just regular little work lights you hook up, and they got the clamp on it. You can clamp just about anywhere. And to diffuse it, instead of, like I told you, I have mine in my softbox where it's just the modeling light showing, and then I'll use 1.4, you know, you shoot a very, very narrow aperture so I can get that real clean look and get that exposure time without having to use a tripod. For me, tripods are very contrived, so it's like everything you take looks like it was posed, so you can drag that shutter. It's like when you're doing people, you have to tell them to stay real still when you do that. For me, I was actually fortunate enough to be able to get the 1.4 prime 85, so I can very easily hand hold a camera and shoot with these kind of bulbs and not have to worry about getting the motion blur. A lot of people do. My D3 can shoot as, you know, high ISO, so I'm shooting 3200 and I'm using 1.4 on the 85. I've got a 35 millimeter that will shoot 2.0, and that works just as good. But these work lights are very, very good. If you do use them, you're probably going to want to get a tripod, drag the shutter to get the quality that you want, the clarity, and you want to look at the Kelvin temperature and set your camera accordingly as well. All lights, every light out here has a Kelvin temperature. I first learned this when I was doing fish tanks. I have a reef tank in my studio, so I started learning the different colors that are associated with the bulbs. And finally I said I was tired of dealing with the pictures on the camera and dealing with that situation, because a lot of those little pictures like the open shade or the sun or the little flash button, those they're not very accurate. All the bulbs have different temperatures. Every bulb, regardless if it comes from the same company and it says the same Kelvin temperature, it's going to vary just a little bit. So a lot of times you can actually look on the package of these lights when you get them. I got this at Walmart. You can see it says 65 Kelvin or 65,000 Kelvin. So if you have an adjustment on your camera for where you can actually set the Kelvin temperatures, you can just simply turn the dial on that and set your camera to 65,000 Kelvin and get pure white. And that's why you want to match it, not because you know, it's a certain output in terms of light power, but it's a certain color, and that color is what that Kelvin temperature is going to do for you. You can use just regular orange bulbs, like the tungsten bulbs like Thomas Edison made, most people have around their homes. If you do have the fluorescent, it looks like a little curly Q here, if you want to show the camera there. Those do work pretty well. But basically that's making your own light. If you want to diffuse it at some point, you want to make it softer instead of getting a hard light like this would be a direct with this reflector here. You can put sheets in front of it. You can use, if you do like the hard light like you see here, you can take like tin foil and put on a piece of cardboard, or just simply use a white piece of cardboard, or just anything that will reflect light. Anything darker is going to subtract, anything light is going to reflect. So if you put a reflective material on the opposite of this, you get a nice balance. You can adjust your shadows as you move the reflector in and out. So basically that's how you create your own lighting situation, lighting source, and lighting materials, Home Depot and Lowe's. I appreciate it. This is Tom Sapp. Thank you very much.